All right, so there's a dude on YouTube. His name is Reckless Ben, and he basically does these documentaries. And I didn't even go too deep into his channel. I just know there's a situation with a place called Bricks and Minifigures, and I think Bricks and Minifigures is like the channel sales or like the salesperson, the middleman for Lego. And so they have physical stores where you can go in and you purchase the Legos, yada, yada, yada. They make money, yada, yada, yada. This place, I guess, had some Legos on consignment for a guy. He gave him like $200,000 worth of Legos, and the store got sold. When the store got sold, the new people were like, nah, we ain't got your Legos. And he was like, nigga, I'm looking at my Legos. They was like, nah, them not your Legos. And he was just like, you just out the money. And he tried to do it a few different ways. And the guy was like, I'm going to try to sue you. And the corporation was like, well, if you try to sue us, we're going to ensure that case costs you way more than $200,000. So you're going to lose. And he went to the store and he went to the corporate. He was like, I just want my Legos back. And they wasn't fucking with him. And so he talked to this dude on YouTube. And truth be told, I never even thought about the power of motherfuckers on YouTube. And somehow he got in contact with a guy on YouTube where like the followers from the guy got in contact with him. And he did these documentaries. When I tell you, this was some of the most clever shit I've ever seen in my life. When he was just fucking with them. And I've never seen anybody like fuck with a corporation with nothing. You got nothing. I got a bunch of fucking followers and I got fucking YouTube. And so basically he goes to the store himself and he brings the camera and he's just like, hey, I want to go ahead and get these Legos. And they were like, no. He was like, but this contract says that they're his Legos. This contract here from this store says that they're his Legos. And they were like, you need to leave. You need to leave. You need to leave. And he got kicked out the store. The police came. Police said, you're trespassing. And like he was in a small town in Oregon. So I imagine shit's not very nice there. It's one of the things where it was just like, oh, this isn't racist, but it feels fucking racist. So they basically was like, get out the store. They trespassed. And they said, if you ever come back here, you'll get arrested. And so from this point, he goes through a bunch of like smear campaign type shit. And it's the silliest, funny shit. And when you watch the documentary, they put on these yellow masks and they sneak to the actual business and they hung a sign over the business that says we steal from old people. He set up a fucking table storefront in front of the actual business and it said we steal from old people. He started selling shirts that say we steal from old people. And he was selling a lot of shirts. He got mad because he was like, they not inside. They can't see us because the windows are tinted. So he sends somebody inside and tell them to come look outside. And they finally did. And they was like, you can't do this. He was like, we can't. Like, no, you can't. This is against the law. He's like, you can do this. It's not against the law. And somehow he'd been looking up the laws and skating on real thin ice. So the police got there and they were like, you can't do this. He was like, no, this is an actual business. And it's a franchise. So we have multiple locations. And so basically they were like, if you have an issue with it, all you got to do is call corporate. And they was like, corporate say, all you got to do is talk to the franchise owner. And they kept trying to send people back and forth the same way that they were being sent back and forth about the Legos. Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. And at one point he talking to the CEO and the CEO is just like, I see what you're doing. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, why not just give him back the Legos? I'm like, first off, how the internet works. Why not just give him the fucking Legos?